Hello, wealthy family, and thank you for coming and sharing some time with me today. Welcome, new subscribers. Our community is growing. Yay! I'm so excited. Be sure to say hello to me down in the comments, right? I'd love to connect with you all. So, today I'm going to share some personal information. Gonna get a little bit personal, but it's something that's been on my heart to talk about for a while because right now the world needs more love, regardless of what type of love it is. But the most important, the most potent love is self love. And there was a time in my life where I did not love myself. So I'm going to talk about my journey and how I one got there because I did used to love myself, but how did I fall out of that? And then how did I come back into it and be bigger and better? So, growing up, my father was not in the household. I had many father figures, but I'm sorry, there's something on my eyelash. I had many father figures, but my father was not in the house with me. And there were times where I couldn't go to the my father figures for certain things. I wanted to talk to my father, right? My the man who brought me into this world, and I couldn't have that. So I always told myself that if I ever had children, they would always have a father in the house. I told myself that regardless. And then as I got older, I was like, this is the type of man I want to be married to, and this is, what I want to have going on. I had this whole image of what I wanted. And then I had my first child, a boy, at 17, not planned at all. And my plans kind of went upside down. My his father and I, we were in high school. He was actually graduating, going to college, and of course, wasn't going to stay back for that. He wasn't ready for fatherhood, and that's fine. But with that being said, that idea of having a man in the house had kind of went out the window. And then as time evolved, I started saying, okay, well, I need this from a man. I need this from a man. And without even knowing what I was doing, without even knowing I was manifesting these thoughts, I was building this person in my head, whether it's the good and the bad, I was just saying, this is what I want. This is what I want. So my first husband gave me all those things that I wanted and a nice little package with an added bonus of being an abusive asshole. And I didn't know the extent of it at first. He would say little condescending things, but I was sarcastic, so whatever. We would go back and forth. We would bicker. We were both young and immature, and he would say little things like, no one's gonna want you at three children, because by that time I had three children, the youngest being from him. No one's gonna take you with this, or just all types of things. Some of me I was fat, some of me I was useless, some of me I was lazy. And at the time, by the way, I was like 145 pounds soaking wet, even with three children. So yeah, that's a healthy body image, but hey. So after time, I allowed those negative thoughts, or the negative talks, the negative things that he was saying, to build in my mind and compound outward into my reality. So I would start to think that, hey, nobody really would want to settle down with me, and I had to take the crap that he was giving me. That I could check him on it, but there was nowhere I could go, because part of the abuse is having me kind of locked off from the world. So I didn't really have my own job throughout most of our relationship. I wanted to work. I had licenses and certifications, but I was just home. I didn't have a cell phone. The children, while they were young, weren't really in daycare too much, which I didn't mind because I didn't really want my children to go to daycare, but I didn't have that freedom to move and to do things. And it just kind of progressed and progressed and progressed. I remember, and now that I know now what I was experiencing, the mind fuck that was happening, had Stockholm syndrome. But I remember one time we had such a knockout, drag out fight. He had put me through the wall. There was a hole in the wall. And I called my brother and was like, I gotta go. I can't take this. I'm leaving. He's gone to work. It's cool. I'm ready to go right now. I'm gonna get the kids. I'm gonna pack them up and go. And I did all that. And my brother comes, and I'm cooking, and, and I'm putting his food, my ex-husband's food, in the microwave so that when he comes home from work, he could eat. And my brother's like, what are you doing? Like, forget that guy. Why are you trying to feed him? And I was like, no, he has to eat. stuff like that. I'm still relating with my abuser and my captor. I couldn't see it. I remember one time we got into a big fight because I had got my second hole. I always wanted a second earring in my ear. And we got into a big fight because he didn't like it. And it was maybe a week after I had it, and he hit me so hard it ripped my earring out my ear. So, but I still went back to him after that. That was because I was letting those things seep in that no one's gonna want me. I was trying to get out on my own. It was difficult. Um, I wanted that physical body to lay down next to because the physical part of our relationship was good. So, I wanted that. And again, I wanted that father figure for my children. So the children would be like, well, where's daddy? Because, you know, they called him dad at that time and they were still young. They were like, where's daddy? And I would feel bad. I was like, I don't want to put the children through that and go back to him. And it was a mess. It wasn't healthy for me. It wasn't healthy for them. We moved around a lot. It was just so much, but I didn't love myself enough. I didn't respect myself enough to get out that situation. I felt that if I did leave, I was going to be a failure. I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to have that notch of divorce under my belt and teenage mom who still couldn't get her stuff together. I didn't want to hear that. I was afraid of what other people would think without thinking, what is it that my children are going through? What is it that I'm going through? What is it that we are experiencing, and how is it that our minds are being developed? I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was just, trying to hold on to that picture, trying to hold on to that image, but slowly and surely, okay, he calls me fat, so now I have to like starve myself. You know, he calls me lazy, regardless of how much I didn't clean and scrub this house upstairs, downstairs, top to bottom. I'm still gonna find something else to do. I was running myself ragged, and then the children would ask me stuff, and I would snap at them, or I'd be angry at him, and it was all because I didn't love myself enough or respect myself enough to get up out of that. So when we did finally dissolve our marriage, when we did finally get a divorce, I we were living out of state. Divorce was final, and he drove me from the state we were living in back to Florida. And again, I felt I couldn't do things on my own. So I went to someone else and was dependent on that other person and was like, help me and my children, please. I'm just this poor, hapless soul. And I don't know what to do without, again, saying, you know what, I can do this. Let me step out. It's going to be hard, but I can do this on my own. It wasn't until I again got back with my abusive um, ex-husband, and he told me, you know, oh, I'm going to change, I'm going to do this, and then he didn't change. He did the same thing all over again, all over again, even after our divorce. And I went back to him, and then I realized, you know what? No, I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm going to respect myself enough. I don't care if I have to walk and catch the bus and, struggle to keep my lights on and fight with my mother and whatever else the case may be. I was going to later go through and make sure that I did this on my own. And by stepping out and saying that and making that commitment and that promise to myself, by stepping out and saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, and I don't care how hard it gets, I'm not giving up on myself. That allowed me to start building the confidence in myself. And every day I would tell myself, well, first of all, before I even started on myself, I had to get rid of everything that reminded me of that bad energy, that reminded me of who I was in that lower state. So, all the furniture, all the clothes, everything that I had that I shared with my ex husband, I got rid of. I sold, I gave away, I burned, I threw away, whatever it is, I got rid of it all. I said no. And then I went and I got my second ear piercing again, right? Because I wanted it. So I went and I got it again. I felt good. I started doing little things. And then every day I would tell myself that I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am smart. And I'm committed to me. Anything that I would promise myself to do, I would do. I said, you know what? If I could run myself ragged, if I could stay up from 6 in the morning to midnight, taking care of 3 children, my ex-husband, his mother, and a whole household, if I could do that for them, I can do that for me. I can stay up from 6 in the morning until midnight to work on me, to love me. And I wasn't meditating or anything of that nature. That didn't come on till later down the line. But every day I would make a promise to myself that I was going to get up, I was going to go to work, I was going to make sure my children are happy and fed. I was doing the little things that I promised myself I would need to do in order to be successful. What my idea of success was at that time. Okay, as I evolved and my ideas of success changed, then of course I evolved with that. But at that time, coming out of that situation, I had to build my own self-confidence up first. And I had to tell myself it's okay to make mistakes. Stop depending on these other people, because the more I depended on people, the more they would let me down. Even after my divorce, and I'm trying to figure out things with my children. I didn't have a car, I didn't have a license. I didn't get my license back until maybe, how long has it been? It's been about 6 years since I've had my license up and active. Thanks to the support from my husband now, but the encouragement and the work that I put in before I got with him allowed me to lay the foundation and the steps to get to where I needed to be. So the more I started promising myself that I was going to keep those little promises, I was going to wake up early. I was going to, write myself a letter, because I was big on writing. So I used to write myself letters all the time. I used to keep a little journal. This is what happened today. This is how I felt. I started keeping track of my thoughts. Before I even knew that my thoughts was creating my reality, I started keeping tracks of my thoughts. I never told anybody this, but it was really, really weird. I used to like everything I would think, I would write it down. I thought about this today. I thought about the color green. I thought about the number. I thought about this person. I thought about hitting this person with the bat. I thought about, stepping in front of a bus, all types of stuff. Anything that I thought of, I would write down so I could go back and keep track of it. And I was like, you know what? I don't like these thought processes. They're not serving me. So as I was able to start identifying those thoughts that were no longer serving me and saying, you know what? I refuse to not have taxi cab money or bus fare money. I make too much money to not have that or to be struggling. I refuse to make my lights get cut off. After that, my lights never got cut off. I was like, I refuse. It's ridiculous. I'm a whole grown person. I can afford to keep my lights on. Just little things like that. And then partnering with my husband now, who is my soulmate, who is the love of my life. We've been together off and on for 19 years. Coming together with him and then allowing him to pour into me as he gave me compliments and told me that I was beautiful and told me that I was smart and told me that I could accomplish anything. Instead of me refuting that and saying, no, no, I can't do that. That's not true. I would accept it. I would accept it. And I would tell myself that I'm worthy to accept it. See, that self-talk has to change. And then I started meditating. I started growing in my spirituality. I started growing with my spiritual connection. I started understanding that being religious is not being spiritual, and that the thing that animates this body that I'm in, this life force, needs nourishment too. And as I started to nourish that, oh my goodness, it was just an overflow. It was just an overflow, and overflow, and overflow. It was just, my cup runneth over, if you will. So start knowing, start telling yourself until it becomes habit and pattern and ingrained that you are worthy, that you are loved, that you are magnificent, despite what anybody else tells you. Know that they are projecting their own crap onto you. They don't love themselves, so they will never be able to love you. If you have someone in your life that's abusive, they don't love themselves, so they will never be able to love you. They can never give you something that they don't have. Too many times we go to people looking for something, looking for validation that they cannot give us because they themselves have no validation. That's why it's important to believe in yourself first. Believe and trust in you first, and then all else will fall into place. So I hope that helped someone. I hope that resonated a little bit. You got a little little tidbit information into my personal life. Some things I've never told anybody before, but I'm good. I'm past that stage, so I can talk about it because healing has taken place, and it was work, and it was a process. But know that everything in life is a process. We need to get out that quick thinking mentality, get out that microwave mentality that everything needs to happen now, and know that it's a process. Know that you are the perfect you, that your body can become the most perfect vessel that you want it to be. And you don't have to be stick thin, or you don't have to be plump and voluptuous to be healthy. That's not the case. Get out that perfect imagery, because everything in nature is not cookie cutter. Everything in nature is different and vast. So that's all I have for you today, wealthy family. I hope you go out and make it a great, well, by the time you see this, probably a great weekend for the most of us. And let's just go and be more loving. Everybody needs a little bit more love, so let's go out and share some of it. Be sure to like and subscribe, share this video if you know anybody that could benefit from the information. And until we meet again, stay alert, stay aware, and live in love.